straight into question 2. Word processing again. Open the to history document. So we can open the to history document. Question 2.1 says, insert the file path of the document into the header. So we are going to open the header. Then we have to add the file path. So the easiest to do this is by going to the header and footer tools, document info, and there is the file path that we are going to add. Question 2.2. Insert the to winter image as a watermark on the first page only. Make sure that the image is not a washout and has a scale of 150%. Now, a lot of you got this except for this one, the first page only. To do this, we are going to go to the Design tab. We are going to go to the watermark, and we are going to add a custom watermark. Then we go to Picture Watermark, and we are going to select our picture. Now we browse into our folder, into the data files, and the picture that we need to add a watermark is the to winter picture. But remember, it must not be a washout, and they say the scale must be 150%. Now we can click OK. We can now see the watermark appears on the first page, on the second page. But the question says it must only appear on the first page. Now, grade 12s, this has to do with section breaks once again. How do you access the watermark? The watermark appears in the background of the image. What else appears in the background? Everything that you place in the header and in the footer of the document appears in the background. So now, when I am in the header or in the footer of the document, I can now select my watermark. And if I select this watermark and I delete the watermark, it's going to delete it both from page 1 and from page 2. Even if I select it from page 2 and I delete, it's going to delete it from both pages. So what do I need to do first? I first, once again, have to make sure that my document is in 2 different sections. So page 1, once again, is section 1. Page 2 is section 2. So what do I need to do? I need to place my cursor in section 2's header, and I need to once again remove the link to previous. As soon as I've done that, whatever I do in page 1, on page 2 will not appear on page 1. So now I can select the watermark from page 2 and remove it and delete it from page 2, and my watermark will now appear on page 1 only. Therefore, this question is also now done. So let's save and let's go on to the next question. Question 2.3, use a drop cap feature to change the T in the first paragraph to appear as follows. So you can see the T has been dropped with 2 lines and it appears in the margin. So there's the letter T. We are going to select the letter T. We go to insert, and in my text group, we go to drop cap and we go to drop cap options. Remember, the screenshot you will see looks like this one because the text flows below the drop cap. Let's just look at the question. Can you see grew in popularity? It flows below the drop cap. So therefore, it's dropped, and we looked, it was with 2 lines, and that is the drop cap. Then question 2.4. Insert a hyperlink on the text Winter Olympics in paragraph 2 as follows. So let's go to paragraph 2. There is the text Winter Olympics. We are going to select that. It says it should be linked to the bookmark highlights. So we are going to go to insert. We go to link, and we want to insert a link. Where do we want to insert the link? We want to insert a link to a place in this document, to the bookmark called highlights. Now, that is the first part of the question. The second bullet says, the text highlight must display when the mouse hovers over the hyperlink. So if I hover my mouse, it already says highlights. I just want to quickly make sure. So we go to edit hyperlink, and then we add a screen tip, and it should say highlights. Then we click OK, and we click OK again. Now, if we hover, we will see the text highlights appears. 2.5. Find the placeholder below the heading What are the Winter Olympics? And insert the text found in the to extract document in the data files into the document. Ensure that the font type matches the previous paragraph. So the text is found in the to extract document. Now I know there is my placeholder there, so I'm going to remove the placeholder. Now I know what a lot of you are going to do is you are going to look for the to extract file. There is the file. You are going to open the text file. You are going to copy the text from that file and you are going to paste it here. Now we just need to make sure that this is Aptos body 12 points, and this is also Aptos. So you must just make sure that the text font type is the same. But there is another way that you can do this. You can go to Insert, you can go to Options, and you can add, Object, and you can add text from File. And then you can browse into your document. Just make sure it says all files, and we choose extract. Now, if you do it this way, you can see that the font type is now not the same. So instead of it being Aptos, it is now Courier New. So now we just make sure that we change it to Aptos, and the size is 12 points. We just make sure that the size here is 12 points as well. So both ways correct. Up to you how you want to do it. Both ways will be accepted. Okay. Then the question 2.6, locate the citation below the heading What are the Winter Olympics, and edit it so that it is the year is displayed in the citation. So now there it's Herman. We are going to right click on the citation and we are going to edit the citation. And can you see currently the year is suppressed, which means it's not visible. So we just need to uncheck that box to make sure that the year will also be visible. Then we get to question 2.7, which is the last question. Find the table under the heading Key Highlights from Winter Olympics over the years and formatted the display as shown below. So this is what it must look like. It says, note, fill the header row with any blue color. So we go to our document. There is the table. Right, so we are going to select the header row, which is the first row with my headings. We are going to go to the Table Tools Design. There we get shading, and they said we can shade it with any blue color of our choice. The second bullet says the spacing between the cells are 0.1 centimeters. To do this, we are going to do the following. We are going to go to the table tools and we are going to go to the design again. So we can then select our whole table. We can right click on the table and we go to table properties. In the table properties, we then go to this button that says options. And then we will see allow spacing between the cells. If we look at the question, it says the spacing between the cells are 0.1 centimeters. So we change this to 0.1 centimeters. And then we click OK. And that is how we get that effect. Now, that is the only instructions that they are giving us. But we can see that at the bottom, these three columns have been merged and the heading average number of athletes have been typed in. So these three columns, we are going to select them, we are going to right click, and we are going to merge the cells. It says average number of athletes. So we type in average number of athletes, and we are going to center that. And then if we look at the calculation, we can see according to the label, we have to use the average function with no decimal places. So we are going to add our cursor in this cell here. We're going to go to the table layout. Then we go to the layout, and we go here to the right-hand side, the formula. Now, currently the formula says sum. We are going to change that to average, and the number format must have no decimal places, and that must also be centered aligned. I hope that makes sense. And then it says save and close the to history document. So we save the document and we close the document. And that, grade 12, is the end of question 2.